Hey, what's going on, guys? So my name is Ipe. I've been making money on the internet since 2014, fully self-employed. Today I've made multiple seven figures, and today I want to take a look at Naval's video about using leverage to create income, and I want to share with you guys also my story of making money on the internet and how my mentor Dan Klein, when he taught me about how to use leverage to create money and income, it changed everything for me. And in this video, I'm going to show how Naval talks about the same thing.
The most interesting and the most important form of leverage is this idea of products that have no marginal cost of replication. This is the new form of leverage. This is only invented in the last few hundred years. It got started with the printing press, it accelerated broadcast media, and now it's really blown up with the internet and with code. So now you can multiply your efforts without having to involve other humans and without needing money from other humans. This podcast is a form of leverage. Long ago, I would have had to sit in a lecture hall and lecture each of you personally, and I would have maybe reached a few hundred people, and that would have been that.
What he means by no marginal cost for scale is, for example, if you try to scale a restaurant business, you're going to have to, each new location is going to cost more and more money to scale, right? Whereas, what I do is we create websites that rank in Google and it generates leads for small businesses. I also have a blog. And so I can create one piece of article or one website and it can continue to make money for me month after month. And I'm only paying, $15 to $20 a month. And our local lead gen site make anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month. It doesn't matter if these websites gain thousands of visitors, it's not going to cost me any more money to host that website.
30 years ago, I would have to be lucky to get on TV, which is somebody else's leverage. They would have distorted the message, they would have taken the economics out of it or charged me for it. They would have muddled the message, and I would have been lucky to get that form of leverage. But today, thanks to the internet, I can buy a cheap microphone, hook it up to a laptop or an iPad, and there you are, all listening. So this newest form of leverage is where all the new fortunes are made. So all the new billionaires. So the last generation fortunes were made by capital. That was the Warren Buffetts of the world. But the new generation fortunes are all made through code or media. Joe Rogan making 50 to 100 million bucks a year from his podcasts. PewDiePie, I don't know how much money he's rolling in, but he's bigger than the news, right? The Fortnite players. Of course, Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Larry Page and Sergey Brin and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. That is all code-based leverage.
Code is a massive leverage like software because you can create a piece of code one time and it doesn't matter if 1,000 people use it or 1,000,000 people use it. It's not going to cost you any more money, right? Another great example of the power of code and the scalability of a product that has no marginal cost.
Tech startups really excel, where you take just the minimum but highest output labor that you can get, which are engineers and designers, product developers, and then you add in capital. You use that for marketing, advertising, scaling, and you add in lots of code and media and podcasts and content to get it all out there. That is a magic combination, and that's why you see technology startups explode out of nowhere, use massive leverage, and just make huge outsized returns.
Media is another form of leverage with no marginal cost because like this video, I can create this video one time and put it out there and it'll generate traffic, which equals money and income for me for years and years to come.
A little bit about permissioned versus permissionless.
Probably the most interesting thing to keep in mind about the new forms of leverage is they are permissionless. They don't require somebody else's permission for you to use them or succeed. For labor leverage, somebody has to decide to follow you.
That's another great example of why I love the local lead generation business is because we don't need anybody's permission. We pick cities and niches, for example, like plumbers in Dayton, Ohio, and we build a plumbing website, rank it to the top of Google, start generating traffic for a local plumber, and then we get paid later. We don't have to ask any permission from a local committee or any of the plumbing companies that exist in Dayton, Ohio. We're just gonna go ahead and build our website, put a stake in the space of digital real estate, rank it to the top, make it valuable because now it gets traffic, and then now we get paid from other plumbers wanting that traffic from us.
For capital leverage, somebody has to give you money to invest or to turn into a product. But coding writing books, recording podcasts, tweeting, YouTubing, these kinds of things. These are permissionless. You don't need anyone's permission to do them. And that's why they're very egalitarian. They're great equalizers of leverage. And as much as people may rail on Facebook and YouTube, they're not going to stop using it, because this permissionless leverage where everyone can be a broadcaster is just too good. The same way, you can rail upon Apple for having a slightly closed ecosystem in the iPhone, but everyone's writing apps for it. And so as long as you can write apps for it, you can get rich or reach users doing that, why not? I think of all the forms of leverage, the best one in modern society, and people are this is glib, this is a little overused, and this is why I tell people learn to code, right? It's that we have this idea that in the future, there's going to be these robots and they're going to be doing everything. And that may be true, but I would say the majority of the robot revolution has already happened. The robots are already here, and there are way more robots than there are humans. It's just that we pack them in data centers for heat and efficiency reasons. We put them in servers, they're inside the computers, all the circuits, it's the robot mind inside that's doing all the work. And so every great software developer, for example, now has an army of robots working for him at nighttime while he or she sleeps after they've written the code, and it's just cranking away. So the robots army is already here. The robot revolution has already happened. We're about halfway through it. We're just adding in much more of the hardware component these days.
I say this all the time. I have over 60 local lead generation websites out there, and I call these websites almost like my digital foot soldiers. You can call it like robots. They're literally out there ranked at the top of Google, generating leads and traffic for local businesses. And these digital foot soldiers are making money for me day in and day out.
We get more comfortable with the idea of autonomous vehicles and autonomous airplanes and autonomous ships and maybe autonomous trucks, and there's delivery bots and Boston Dynamics robots and all that. But robots who are doing web searching for you, for example, are already here. The ones who are like cleaning up your video and audio and transmitting it around the world are already here. The ones who are answering many customer service queries, things that you would have had to call a human for, are already here.
Yes, we have a coaching program of over 7,000 students, and it's not like our students need to learn to code to do the local lead generation business, because we built softwares that do the coding for us. So for example, we have a web builder called snaps.ai that builds websites, local lead generation websites for us. We also have a call tracking software called CallSling that tracks each and every call that gets generated from our websites, records the calls, and then forwards the recording of each of our leads to our client. So we already are utilizing code, software, and these, as you guess you call it, robots that are doing all the work for us once we set everything up. The key is to learn the strategy and to learn how to put all of these different tools and different quote unquote robots together and make them work together on autopilot.
In the language that they understand. So these robots aren't very smart. They have to be told very precisely what to do and how to do it. So coding is such a great superpower because now you can speak the language of the robot armies and you can tell them what to do.
And I think at this point, actually, people are not only commanding the army of robots within servers through code, they're actually manipulating the movement of trucks, of other people. Just ordering a package on Amazon, you're manipulating the movement of many people and many robots to get a package delivered to you. People are doing the same things to build businesses now. So there's the army of robots within servers, and then there's also an army of people and robots.
Yeah, so that was the clip that I wanted to show you guys. Naval is 100% correct. A couple things I want to add here is that, the key to making money in this world is to understand where money is exchanging hands. And what we say to our students is that, money is always exchanging hands in your local communities. Everybody owns a home, and, every home needs a plumber, a roofer, landscaper, a driveway builder, deck builder, pool cleaner. And so money is exchanging hands all the time in your own communities. And what we do is we utilize these software and code and these robots, as you guess you can say, call tracking and web builders and all these different tools. We put them all together, and we also teach you the different skill set that required to rank at the top of Google, because another key to making money online is you have to learn how to get attention on the internet. Now, media is one form of getting attention, but media is not for everybody. Not everybody is comfortable in front of a camera, and it's highly competitive on platforms like YouTube and TikTok. But another way to get attention on the internet is to actually rank simple website at the top of local Google search engines for, let's say, local services like plumbers, roofers, tow trucks, limousine companies. And then once you get to the top, you are going to get what's called free organic traffic from Google. And then we can use these robots, call tracking, to generate a lead. And we can now sell that lead to a local service provider, local business owner. And then this is how I was able to build up to $50,000 a month in residual passive income. And this is how, we have all these students all across the world that are able to quit their 9-to-5s. So like Naval said, this is where the fortunes are being made today, is to get into the digital space and learn how to create a business that has no marginal cost for scale. Once you're able to figure out how to do that, you're talking about being in a business that has so much more advantages than being in traditional brick and mortar businesses. If you're interested in hearing more about this, I have a link in the description where you can learn more about our coaching program. We've been around since 2014. We have over 7,000 students, and we teach people exactly how to create digital businesses that utilize software and code to create massive leverage, just like how Naval has explained. And if you want to hear more about how to create leverage income, subscribe to our channel. I'm going to be releasing more videos like this that show you different angles and different methods to create leverage income on the internet.